News at bedtime.
This is the news at bedtime with me, John Tweedledum.
And me, Jim Tweedledee, wishing you a happy Christmas.
Stories this festive bedtime, the bleak midwinter of discontent. Did Santa's on-off strike ruin your Christmas? Were your presents delivered on time? And if so, were they the right presents?
All I wanted was a Satsuma, and instead I got a drum kit. I think Santa's rubbish.
Also coming up, the Snowman. Should he be taking small boys flying to the North Pole? But first, since it's Christmas, John, I've bought you a present.
Oh, goody! What is it? It's a new rattle! It's just what I wanted. Let's see if it works. Ow! Thanks, Jim.
That hurt!
Now, everyone knows that Christmas can be a very difficult time, particularly for relationships.
Too right, fat boy.
Tonight we're looking at the problem of Yuletide stress syndrome, and we're going over live to Mary, our contrary correspondent, who is at the scene of a typical festive domestic incident. Mary, happy Christmas.
No, it isn't, John. Particularly not for the couple I'm talking to, who have seen their Christmas day of joy turn into a living nightmare. Mrs. Truelove, how did this row start?
Well, on the first day of Christmas, Mr. Truelove sent to me a partridge in a pear tree.
And that's not what you wanted?
No, I wanted a tease made.
So what was your response to that, Mr. Truelove?
Well, I was disappointed, so to make amends, on the second day of Christmas I sent her 2 turtle doves and another partridge in a pear tree.
He obviously went to a lot of trouble.
Yes, but 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree are not a tease made, are they?
That's what she said about the 3 French hens, 4 collie birds and 5 gold rings.
5 gold rings. Very generous.
Apparently not. On the 5th day of Christmas, my true love said to me, "What bit of I want a tease made don't you understand?"
So what happened then?
Oh, well, as you can hear...
I'm being attacked by what appear to be 6 geese a laying, so it's back to the studio.
Thank you, Mary, who seems to have been goosed there. We'll come back to that story later in the programme.
Now, the big story this Christmas has been the strike by Santa Claus over modernisation. The ongoing dispute between management and the Christmas Workers' Union, led by Mr. Claus, has caused major disruption to present delivery, affecting every stocking in Nurseryland. And Santa has just flown in to join me in the studio.
Hello, John.
And also with me is management representative Terence McDiddler, the new chief executive of Santa Solutions plc. So, Mr. McDiddler, what's this dispute all about?
We are simply trying to bring Christmas present delivery systems into the modern age. Now, there's a lot of nostalgia, I know, for the old ways of doing things, the sleigh, the reindeer, the bearded man coming down the chimney, but we have 6 billion presents to deliver round the world, and we have to adapt to a more modern technology.
Isn't he right, Santa? You are just a dinosaur. Santa Solutions plc has recruited thousands of temporary Santas.
Scab Santas.
Temporary Santas, a lot of them North Polish, who are already out there doing a perfectly good job delivering presents.
Ho, ho, ho! No, they're not. Most of them are throwing the presents in the canal.
Isn't that true, Mr. McDiddler?
Look, John, you and I know that everyone loves Santa, and he paints this sympathetic picture of his job, but his working practices are utterly unacceptable.
Ho, ho! Wholly untrue.
Let me finish.
Yes, Santa, let him finish, for heaven's sake.
The fact of the matter is that Santa works just 1 day a year, and as soon as he finishes his delivery round, he knocks off for the next 12 months. All we're asking is that he does some work for the rest of the year. And...
Hold on a minute. The idea that I'm just sitting on my backside for 364 days is utter nonsense. I have millions of letters from children to process. I have reindeer to muck out, a sleigh to service, and not to mention a beard to grow.
You also drink 6 billion glasses of sherry left out for you on Christmas Eve and spend until late August sobering up.
Now, Mr. McDiddler, I've got a list, and I've checked it twice, and I can tell that you're being naughty, not nice. So I'm afraid it's no Christmas presents for you this year, Terence.
Oh, no, that's not fair. I've been a good boy. Please.
So we'll see how management react to that ultimatum from Santa later on in the programme.
You can get off Santa's knee now, John.
Oh, sorry.
And don't ask him for a knighthood again. You're demeaning yourself. It's embarrassing for all of us.
Ow!
Ow!
Right on the noodle.
I'll noodle you.
Ow! I'll get you.
I'll get you.
Ow, stop it.
You take that.
And later tonight on My Little ITV, the Xmas Factor reaches its climax as the last acts perform in front of the judges. Simple Simon Cowell and young Queen Cole.
And now I'd like to call my brilliant group of boys who it's been a privilege to mentor, the Fiddlers 3. And the song I've chosen for them is a traditional Christmas favourite.
Cheryl, it's a terrible choice of song. I think the Fiddlers 3, they're going home this week.
You just play mind games, Simon. Here they are, living the dream and singing Slay's classic, Merry Christmas, everybody.
So here it is, Merry Christmas, everybody. Find out the result of the Xmas Factor tonight at 8:30 on My Little ITV.
Well, if I wasn't having a miserable Christmas before, I certainly am now.
Ooh, bah, humbug.
And now, with the time coming up to 'tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la, it's over to Brian, Pinky and Perkins with the special holiday headlines on ice.
I'm Brian, Pinky and Perkins, and these are the headlines on ice. The death has been announced of Solomon Grundy, a man who packed an enormous amount into a very short life. Solomon Grundy was born on a Monday, christened on Tuesday, and married on Wednesday. But last Thursday, he was taken ill. His condition deteriorated on Friday, and he died on Saturday. Don't worry, everyone, I'm fine. Solomon Grundy will be buried on Sunday. And that's the end of Solomon Grundy. And that is the news headlines with me, Brian, Pinky and Puck. I think I may have broken something.
Thank you, Brian, Pinky and Perkins, for that ice-tacular news bulletin.
That worked about as well as expected.
I liked it.
You would.
Let's go back now to Mary, who's with Mr. and Mrs. Truelove at the scene of the Yuletide Stress Syndrome domestic incident. Mary, did Mrs. Truelove get her teas made?
No, Jim. What you can hear is the Truelove's neighbours who are protesting vigorously about the levels of noise. Mrs. Truelove, why are they so angry?
Because on the 12th day of Christmas, Mr. Truelove sent me 12 lords a-leaping, 11 ladies dancing, 10 pipers piping, 9 drummers drumming, and it's a small flat we're talking about.
There was plenty of room.
Yeah, not for the 8 maids a-milking, 7 swans a-swimming, 6 geese a-laying, not to mention the...
And we'll come back to Mary for an update on how that incident resolves itself later in the programme. Time for Thought for the Day with Peter Rabbi.
It's Christmas, Peter, so I hope you've got a jolly thought for us.
Hello, John. Hello, Jim. Since it's Christmas, I wanted to tell the story of the night before Christmas.
Lovely.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. And you know why that was? Because my old friend Tom Kitten had caught the mouse and ripped it to pieces with his sharp little claws. And then Tom ate him. Blood, hair, tail, tiny little bones, all crunched up and gobbled down. It's not a happy Christmas for everyone, you know. And it certainly wasn't for poor Mr. Mouse and the grieving mouse family he left behind. Season's greetings, Jim. Happy Winterful, John.
And to you, Peter Rabbi. Pass a seasonal cheer, would you, Jim? You finished the whole bottle.
Well, goodness me. Anyone for charades?
No, it's over to Dilly to find out what's happening with the weather.
Fair enough. How are you, darling?
Tomorrow is the Feast of Stephen and the forecast is for snow. It's going to be laying all round about, deep and crisp and even. There's going to be a brightly shining moon later on, and with that will come a frost that's cruel. So, if you are a yonder peasant, my advice is to wrap up warm and gather some winter fuel. And that's the Christmas weather from me, Dilly.
Thanks, Dilly. And look, there's a wee sprig of mistletoe above my head. Thank you, John. The mistletoe was actually meant for Dilly.
Beggars can't be choosers, Jim. Now it's time for Jim to sober up.
Oh!
And our celebrity Christmas appeal with national treasure, Dame Widow Twankey.
Christmas is coming, and the goose is getting fat. But that's no consolation for the old man with the hat. So I'm asking you, please put a penny in the old man's hat. If you haven't got a penny, a halfpenny will do. And if you haven't got a halfpenny, then you can pay by credit card, direct debit or back transfer. Simply make your gift payable to the Dame Widow Twankey Old Man's Hat Celebrity Christmas Charity Appeal. Thank you.
And I should mention that Dame Twankey's book, Twanks for Nothing, My Autobiography by me, oh yes it is available now at all good remainder shops.
Christmas is all about children, but how far should we go to protect them? Some worried parents want all those who work with our kids to be vetted by the Nurseryland Criminal Records Bureau, even the Snowman.
It's all very well him taking small boys flying to see the Northern Lights, but we don't know anything about him. And then there's all his strange friends dancing about in funny outfits.
Joining me in the studio is the man at the centre of the row, the Snowman. So, Snowman, you think it's acceptable to take a child off in the middle of the night to walk in the air, i.e. fly unaccompanied, without any checks on your background or qualifications? I take it that's a yes. Oh, no, can someone turn the heating down? His head's falling off. There goes the carrot nose. Now his eyes have popped out. John, help me get him back into the fridge.
Classic radio there with our non-speaking guest. And now it's back to Mary, our contrary correspondent at that Yuletide present domestic row. Mary, can you hear me?
No, John, it's getting pretty loud here. The noise abatement officers have issued a summons to stop the drummers drumming and the pipers piping. The RSPCA are removing the 8 maids a-milking and the enormous collection of bird life. And yes, the police have arrived to investigate the Lords of Leaping for claiming the Truelove's flat as their second home. Mr. Truelove, after all that wasted effort, all those pointless, unwanted gifts, what do you hope to get for Christmas?
A divorce. My lawyers tell me that she'll get the lot.
You mean the...
Yes, the 12 lords are leaping, 11 ladies dancing, 10 pipers piping, 9 drummers drumming, 8 maids are milking, 7 swans are swimming, 6 geese are laying, 5 gold rings, 4 collie birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree.
Thanks, Mary. A sad story about the stress that Christmas can cause.
So, just time to look at tomorrow's papers. The Nursery Times leads with My Shiny Red-Nosed Shame Repentant Rudolph Goes Into Rehab. A Daily Fairy Graph Has I Slept My Way to Top of Tree Confesses Christmas Fairy. And the Twinkle Twinkle Daily Star has more naked pictures of Lady Godiva on her horse wearing nothing but a party hat and looking rather cold.
And news is just coming in of a breakthrough in the dispute between Santa and the North Pole management. Mr. Claus and Mr. McDiddler have just issued the following statement.
After full and frank negotiations, I am pleased to announce that Santa can carry on in his job on whatever terms he likes. Mr. Claus is delighted with this agreement, and I am delighted with my new train set, which is fantastic. It's the Flying Scotsman locomotive with 2 LNER composite coaches. Wow. Thank you, Santa.
My pleasure, little Terence. Hoo, hoo, hoo!
It just remains for me to say this is John Tweedledum.
Hang on, aren't you forgetting something?
What?
My Christmas present.
Oh, sorry. Nearly forgot. Here you are. Oh! Happy Christmas.
The News at Bedtime starred Jack Dee and Peter Capaldi, with Lewis MacLeod, Alex McQueen, Lucy Montgomery and Vicky Pepperdine. It was written by Ian Hislop and Nick Newman and produced in 2009 by Simon Nichols. That sort of slightly implies that he travelled back to do it. He was just there at the time. At 9:45 next Thursday night, we'll be halfway through a review of the year from The News at Bedtime, so you should probably listen from 10 or travel back in time if you have that facility. Time now for something Christmassy, which you won't enjoy, but it's been requested. Almost exactly a year ago, I went onto the Now Show, and I'm reprising a song I did then because this is 4Extra, the home of old satire. If you've been in a supermarket at all since mid-September, then you'll have heard the great canon of rotten Christmas pop songs a couple of hundred times. Actually, Jake, we like them. We like the Christmas songs, Jake, okay? We like them. Perhaps some of us could enjoy Christmas if other people weren't being so bar humbug about the whole... Sorry. I like it too. And I've been studying these songs quite obsessively. So what I tried to do was to distill every sort of musical and lyrical motif that makes a Christmas song and condense it down into one ultimately Christmassy song. So a quick bit of music theory for you as a background to this. My old music teacher, Katrina Kerno, she was, contrary to any indication offered by what I'm about to play for you, a brilliant teacher. And she taught me what a plagal cadence is. So most songs really end by going from the dominant to the tonic. That's a perfect cadence. It's chords 5-1. So if, like me, you only work in the key of C major on principle, because anything else is just silly and pretentious, there's absolutely no need. You'd go from chords G to C. That's the ones you'd have in da 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 da. Dun, dun. That's a perfect cadence.